There's a lot of confusion about expansion and the opposite of expansion, compression or condensing in Tai Chi. So there's a misconception that, for instance, when one side is opening, the other side is closing. And this is a two-dimensional thought, and Tai Chi is much more than that. It's even more than three-dimensional. So I'm going to try to give you a few visual props so that maybe you could have a better understanding of this concept. The Tai Chi really is a constant expression of expansion. So I'm going to start with the balloon. Some of you have already probably looked at my expansion with the balloon, but let's talk about the center. One of the most effective aspects of Tai Chi in terms of a martial art is that the better you get at it, the smaller and more refined your center is, such that it disappears for your opponent. I mean, that's one of the goals, so that they don't know where to push on you to get you off balance. So if you imagine that I have, a magic little pea inside of this balloon, and that is the center. And somehow it's suspended perfectly in the center of this balloon. So in relationship to where the balloon is now, in ratio, it's a larger percentage of this balloon. So now if you can just imagine or envision that pea magically suspended in here, and if I expand it in all directions at the same time in equal proportion, now you can envision that pea magically suspended in the center, and in ratio it's much smaller. So in effect, the nucleus or the center of this balloon has become smaller in relationship to the overall body of the balloon. And this is what we try to do in Tai Chi. And if I can expand even more, equally in all directions, and now if that pea, if you could see it inside, is become even smaller. So this is why we are always an expression of expansion and in equal proportions in all directions throughout our body when we practice Tai Chi, because we're trying to make our center ever so smaller. So it's not necessarily one side compressing or one side condensing and the other side expanding. It's expansion in all directions, and then the counterbalance or the counter reaction of that is that the center becomes smaller and smaller, and therefore much harder to find from our opponent. Now, I'm going to let go of the air. Always a fun sound. I have this hanging outside. Oops, it fell apart. And I've been watching it for years. And to me, it is the perfect expression of Tai Chi because it embodies so much of what Tai Chi is. Now, it's interesting that it responds differently inside to the light than it does outside. And I'll explain the difference. The outside natural appearance of it is much more true to the principles of Tai Chi. Some of you may have seen these spinners, but this one is unique to me because it has no design. It's very simple. So it's circular. It is a figure 8 in a way. It's spiraling. And as you can see, when it spirals, that it has an expression of compression and expansion. And this is what's much more evident outside, is that when those rings of light through the spiraling, the circular movement, expands outward, what in fact is also happening at the same time is that that energy is expanding, or rather condensing inward. So it's an equal expression of energy going outward, expanding into infinity, and at the same time, the opposite and equal reaction is that the center is becoming more and more refined. And then it, too, at the next turn, expands outward. So if you could imagine this just having a ring after ring after ring after ring into infinity, that's it. That's the universe, that's energy, and that is Tai Chi. So in my next lesson, I'll take this a next step and teach you how to apply it very simply into some of your more basic Tai Chi movements so that you can feel this constant expression of expansion. So thank you for joining me. If you like my tutorials, appreciate it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel or visit my website at taichisuzan.com. Thanks a lot.